Welcome to Angela's Kitchen Garden, where I grow my own organic fruit, vegetables and cut flowers. I've had a busy day down at the plot today and I'll show you what I've been up to. So I've been busy putting down my paths. Unfortunately I've run out of the ground pegs, so I've had to stop. But I'll show you what I've managed to get done so far. So I've put in this path here, so my bed for my sweet corn is separated, and then in the corner I've got my bed for my uchiki curry, my butternut squash and my winter squash, so they should do really well. And then along here I've got my beds for my cutting garden, and I used to have paths made out of cardboard, but I decided that I really didn't like them, so I took them up because they attracted the slugs and the snails. They disintegrated and they just looked really unsightly. So now I've got these weed suppressing membrane paths and I think that they look much nicer. And so now I'm going to give you a quick look around my cutting garden because it's really starting to take shape. Along the back I've got my sweet peas and I'm growing these with the cordon method. Then along here I've got my carnations. I grew these from seed this year. And so in the autumn, with the ones that I like the colours of, I will take cuttings. And so next year I'll get a really nice head start on these. Here I've got my antirrhinums and I've pinched the tops out of these just to help bush them out so I get more flowers from these. And then I have got two little pots here with my love in a mist. And these need pricking out now because they're starting to get a bit bigger. And then I need to pot them on. But they've done really well. And they'll fill up this line nicely and they should look really, really pretty. And then here I've got my zinnias, and these are my standard zinnias, and they're so pretty. I love them and I grow them every year. They're such great flowers to have in your cutting garden. And here are my asters. Now these really haven't done very well this year. I've only got 4 to germinate so far, and so the bed is going to look really empty, so I've had to sow some more seeds in here and I'm really hoping these ones come up. And then next to them I have got a row of bouquets, I think that's how you pronounce it, and these are a green foliage plant. They're absolutely fantastic. They've got a really pretty lime green spray of flowers on the top, and they're great for adding to your bouquets because they add that nice touch of greenery to it and they just make it look a little bit more professional. I've managed to fill up most of the line here. I've managed to get to about here, and so I've got a little bit of a gap at the top. So what I've done is I've sown some more seeds in there and hopefully they'll come up. If the plants don't come up, then what I'm going to have to do is rethink what I'm going to put in the rest of the bed. Now here I'm going to sow my bouquets and my love in a mist in the autumn next year, not all of it but just half of the line. And the reason for this is because some of my friends sowed their love in a mist in the autumn last year and their plants are so big that they've already got flowers already. So I'm going to do that too, so that I get a really nice succession of flowers so I can start picking them now next year and then also throughout the summer. Now here are my chrysanthemums, and these are all different varieties and I'm not sure what they look like, and so this year is more about deciding which ones I like and taking as many cuttings as I possibly can from the ones that I like the look of. And so next year I have a bed full of flowers that I really, really like. And chrysanthemums are absolutely fantastic for adding to your bouquets, so they're a staple plant really for a cutting garden. So I'm hopefully going to get a nice collection of these going. Now here are my larkspur, and there is a trick to getting these to germinate. If you get your seed packet, you need to put it in the freezer for 1 to 2 weeks before you want to sow your seeds. And the reason for this is because it tricks the seeds into thinking that they've gone through the winter dormancy. And so when you take them out of the freezer and then you sow the seeds, they already think that the winter has gone. And so they think that it's now spring and it's time for them to germinate. And so that's a really good way of getting them to germinate. And I've found with this that loads of them come up. So I will need to thin these out because they've germinated so well. Now here I've got my giant zinnias, and I absolutely love these. They have huge flowers. They're the size of sort of dahlia flowers. They're absolutely massive and they come in such pretty colours. I absolutely love them. I've got a couple down the end that are slightly bigger, and these were given to me by one of my friends. She's got a polytunnel, so she manages to grow things much earlier than me in the season. And if you have a look at this one, it's already starting to bush out at the bottom. They are just such fabulous plants. I'm really excited to see these go. Now they fill up the space quite quickly and they get really stocky and compact, but because I'm going to be cutting long stems, I'll be able to thin them out a bit. Now here are my sunflowers, and these were put into the ground about a week ago. And if you have a look at this plant here, these were all the same size last week when I planted them out. But this one in this little pot has been restricted and it's sort of stunted its growth because it's been left in the pot. I've got this because it's a spare one in case one of the other ones didn't make it. But it's also a really good example to show you why it's important to pot things on, because they will suffer if you leave them in the pots too long, because they're not getting the nutrients that they need and their roots are being so restricted. If I pull this out, you can see how pot bound this one is, and that's only within a week. If it was left in here much longer, it would really suffer more. And so it's really important to plant things out when they need planting out. Now here, these sunflowers are a branching variety, so I should get loads of flowers from this. I've never grown them before, so this is a bit of a trial for me this year. Now along here I have got my cornflowers. I sowed these directly into the ground earlier on in the year, and then I pricked them out and then spaced them out, and they're doing fantastically well. These are a variety that have 3 different colours, so they're a pink, a lilac, a blue colour, and they should look really, really nice. I'm really excited. Now here are my dahlias, and I grew these from tubers this year. And when they get a little bit bigger, I'm going to pinch them out just to help bush them out a little bit more so that I get more flowers from them. But they're doing fantastically well in here. And you can pinch them out as many times as you want. If you want to make them even more bushier, then you can pinch them out twice. Now here behind them, I've got my gladioli. Now I put these corns in earlier on in the year. And if you have a look, they haven't all come up at the same time. They've sort of staggered themselves. And this is really good because it means that I'll get a continual display of flowers from them. So I'll be able to cut them continually rather than in one big batch. And with these, because it's so mild in the south of England where I live, I'm going to leave the corns in the ground over winter. And then what I'll do is I'll just put a really thick layer of mulch on the top. And they should do really well. When they get too compact and congested, what I'll do is I will dig them up and thin them out and then space them out again. But that's the only reason that I'll dig them up, just to help space them out again. So I'm really excited to see these go and get the flowers on them, because they're getting quite big now, so it shouldn't be too long before they start sending them up. Now here I've got my dahlias that I grew from seed this year. I've got a row here of Dahlia Bishop's Children, and if you watched my video a little while ago on stopping dahlias or pinching them out or topping them, this is one of the ones that I cut the top off, and you can see it's getting really, really bushy. It's looking absolutely fantastic. Now with these shoots that are coming out on the side, you can pinch them out again, so you can come along with this one and take out the top, and this would then send up 2 new branches, so you get 2 flowers from this branch rather than 1, or 2 flower stalks rather than 1 flower stalk. So here I've got a row of Dahlia Bishop's Children by Sarah Raven, and then beside it I've got a row of pom-pom mix, and I'm not sure what colour they are. Now here I've just got some flowers for the bees, and they really, really love them. I'm not going to cut any of these flowers. They're just to help attract the pollinators to my plot so that they can help pollinate all the different flowers for me. And it's really important to have things for the different pollinators. Now here are my cosmos, and I've got 2 different varieties. I have got Cosmos Sensation, and I have also got Cranberry Double Click, and I'm really excited to see that one because it's a really, really gorgeous double flower, and I guess it is a cranberry colour. It's really, really pretty, and I'm really excited to see what they look like, and I will get masses of flowers from these. As you can see, this one's a bit early. It's sent up a little flower shoot here. This isn't really going to be massive, but it will give me an idea of the colour. But once these things get established, they will just be a mass of flowers all the way through the summer. Cosmos is a fantastic cut flower, and the foliage is so pretty as well. So that's my cutting garden as it is so far. And it's starting to really take shape, and I'm so excited to see how many bouquets of cut flowers I managed to get from this year.